What's going on, YouTube? So here we're going to take a look at the final play in our single back ace pair chief scheme. I know it's been a while. I promised this video a little bit back, but we're finally getting to it. And we're going to begin by looking at the halfback dive, which is my second favorite run in the formation. We're just going to motion over the tight end. We're going to motion the receiver over just like we do in the past game so that we keep our opponent on his heels. Anytime we just get to the line and snap the ball, our opponent's going to get a jump on what it is that we're doing. Unless you have, I think it's Conductor in Madden Ultimate Team, where you can make a couple hot routes before you snap the ball. Snapping the ball right when you get to the line of scrimmage is not something that you want to be doing in this scheme because they're going to read run first. In the play under, we have the ability to make just one hot route. So if you play regs or you play CFM, you can make one hot route and then snap the ball. But for the most part, we're at least making two adjustments on any of the other plays, not including all the motion. So when you run the halfback dive, you certainly want to be doing some fake hot routes just to keep your opponent on his heels, to be expecting other things. And then sometimes in the run game, you really want people to be cross-manning and stuff like that because it can open up some lanes in the run game. So the halfback dive is my second favorite run, and we're going to get into my favorite run in this game. But first, we're going to take a look at the halfback screen. Now, as you see here, I've motioned X over to the left. And the reason I do that is because, as you see, circle, X, and R1 are all on streaks. And what I need to do is I need to motion somebody somehow to create some space for one target to get open. If I leave X where he is, well, R1 and X are side by side. And if I don't motion anyone, then square and circle are side by side. So it's a better chance that I'm going to be throwing into coverage. So here I motion X over, and I talk a lot about setting yourself up for success, especially if you don't have the best reads. Well, here it makes it a lot easier to read R1 on a high point pass rather than all the way across the field to circle on a high point pass. Okay, so read number one on this play is R1. That's going to be against zone coverage. That's going to be against one-on-one man coverage. Man coverage is, for the most part, really going to affect any screen pass in the game. So that's why you always want to have that second option in case it's man coverage. Otherwise, we're going to take a couple steps to the right so that we're out of the pocket. We don't get an intentional grounding, and then we just throw the ball away if nobody's open. Now, the pressure in under center screens is a lot different than in shotgun. In shotgun, you can make one or two reads, then go to your halfback. Under center, you cannot. So I cannot motion, somebody or whatever, and then make read one, read two, and then go to triangle. You're going to get sacked way before then. You might fumble, so you want to be wary of that. So let's take a look at R1. We're going to motion X over. R1's not available. We see that it's zone right off the bat. Yes, because circle gets bumped here, okay, we could make X a high point pass. Absolutely. Absolutely could. Here's the problem with that. It's an under center screen. And as I said, the pressure is going to be very, very fast. So unless you know that they're going to be pressing the slot receiver, it's going to be really tough. You got to make read 1, 2, and 3 on an under center screen. So I know for a fact I didn't even look at X on this play. I know that for 100%. Didn't even look because I don't personally have that ability to read everything, especially in a short period of time. So I read R1, saw that he was covered, went to triangle. Simple as that. Now, you can certainly break some big gains on these screens. But it's not like years past where you really could just, if you got the screen off into the open field, you were gone. It's not really like that anymore. You run into your own linemen. They don't really block as much downfield, especially the wide receivers. So you can get some big gains, but don't expect to be like getting a ton of touchdowns and stuff. Now here, we're down to the end zone. What's one thing that we love to do down near the red zone is we love to high point pass. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that I know that this is man coverage. And again, man coverage is the one thing that's really going to affect screen passes because of the fact that there's always going to be somebody covering the running back. So that's something that you want to avoid. If your opponent's playing a lot of man coverage, don't even call a screen. There's no point, because then your only read is going to be a high point pass, and we could just high point pass from other formations, so, or other plays, should I say. So if they're in man coverage a lot, avoid the screen. Against zone, that's what you want. Here, they send everybody, and just take a look. I mean, the guy is about to sack me, and I can barely get the ball off. If I throw the triangle, I mean, there's a defender right there, plus there's no way I'm ever completing that. So I take the one-on-one shot. I read R1 first. I see that it's man. I see that it's one-on-one, and luckily enough, I'm able to get the pass off one-on-one, and we're good to go. We're going to take one-on-one all day long on high points. That's just what we're going to do. Now here, I've motioned square over, because throughout the scheme, that's what we do in a lot of the pass plays. And again, it's all about keeping your opponent off balance and not knowing what to expect. Now, because of the clutter, obviously, X, R1, and square are not going to be options at all ever. So I can't make any hot routes on screens. I would love if I could put circle on an in route or circle on a flat route and make that my first read in case that corner's blitzing. Then I can just dump it off quick and potentially get a ton of yards. But he's right over top. That's going to be really, really tough. So I will look at circle to see what's going on in a scenario like this where I motion square over. But I have to be ready and aware and understanding that if it's not there for a high point pass, and we're only high point passing, that, you know, don't just throw a regular pass on this. If you see that it's open, high point it. Simple as that. So let's take a quick look. So he is blitzing, but now it's man coverage. You gotta notice that, just bang bang, you know, and you can. Now here, luckily, we have a lot of time, and so we're able to just dump it off, and we get in behind our guys, and we're good to go. So like I said, you can certainly get some big gains, some touchdowns out of this, but don't expect it like in years past. You know, that goes for any screen. So here we motion the guy over. We take a look at R1. R1, of course, is not available. So we just wait, throw it to our running back. And again, probably didn't make the best cut in the world, but certainly didn't really have much blocking anyway. Now here, I could have high point passed to circle, but that's so difficult. It really is to me, because look at the pressure. First of all, the guy has clicked on. How am I supposed to read like R1, X, and circle, or even X, then circle, and then make the play? It's under center, so you're not going to have time. So I just want to preach, just keep it simple, okay? Know your motions. Know that you've got 2 reads and 2 reads only. Maybe circle as a high point pass if you motion square over, only if you motion square over, and then R1 if you motion X over. Otherwise, you know, and he almost ends up picking that. You know, certainly good players will click on, cut to the outside, and try to make that play. So here again, you know, I certainly should have high point passed to R1 right here. Except for the fact that we do have some blocking, you know, out in front. I don't know what I do. Okay, so we do take the blocking, and we end up picking up a good 8 to 9 yards. Now we're going to get into my favorite run in the game, and surprise, surprise, it is not the halfback stretch. I know that that's what you're expecting, right? Not the case. We're going to take a look at halfback zone weak, which is my favorite run in this formation for a couple reasons. Now, you would probably think that you could motion over a wide receiver just like we did in Singleback Jumbo Heavy on the stretch, and then snap it once he gets in between the tight ends, just like we do in the Singleback Jumbo Heavy, and snap it and get some big gains. Not the case. Really didn't, you know, I tried it. I tried to make the halfback stretch work. I really did. But there's a couple reasons why it didn't work. First of all, when you're in a formation like Ace Pair Chief and they expect you to run, they're going to expect the stretch. They're going to be all over it, especially this late in the year. People are all over stretches, especially in a formation like this. So awareness by my opponent is reason number 1 I don't like the halfback stretch. motioning over the guy, on a run play, even though we have a lot of pass plays where we motion like square over, because of the fact that we've got now both tight ends and a receiver over there, and then we just got the one lone receiver by circle on the far left, they're going to be gearing more towards that right side where the halfback stretch is. And I don't like flipping the run to the left and then motioning the guy over and then running it that way. I don't like that either. I tried. Promise you I tried. And it's not to say that the stretch is bad. I mean, I've gotten some good gains. I've gotten touchdowns running the stretch. But just because I get a couple touchdowns running the stretch doesn't mean I'm going to make a video talking about how that's my favorite run, because it's just not. Halfback zone weak is my favorite run, and I'm going to go over that right now and the reason why. Halfback stretch is one direction. Certainly you can kind of cut it, up or whatever, but for the most part, you're going off tackle. That's how you want to run the run. Halfback dive is a run that you want to take advantage of up the middle. So if we're facing a defense right here, the halfback dive is probably your best option. And I'm going to tell you why. Halfback zone weak is going to lead us right in between 78 and 73. Right into the triangle of the defense. Just like if we were to flip it to the right side. The two linemen and then the linebacker standing up over top. It's going to lead us into that direction. So the one thing I like about this is it's the only multi-purpose run in the formation. Now the halfback dive is a run where you could just hold the left stick to either side and just cut hard right to the outside, and you can score touchdowns doing that. But you're not going to against really good players, and you're certainly not going to against a lot of the popular cover 2 defenses. So for me, the dive is just right up the middle. It's that simple. That's really, you can certainly cut, but it's right up the middle and that's it. The halfback zone weak, on the other hand, is a great off tackle or halfback dive by steering it without holding speed burst. So like I said, the run by default is going to lead us right at number 78 and right at 73. So that's in the heart of this defense. So if I had halfback dive as an audible right here, certainly that's what I would go to. But we can steer it right into that area. So let's take a look here. As you see right there, it leads us right into that area. There's no way, if we try to hold speed burst and cut it right up the middle like a halfback dive, even though it's like a semi-run up the middle, that's going to kill us. So that's not something that we want to do. Now, luckily, I get some fantastic blocking on this play, and I'm able to pick up some big yards. But if I didn't have that, I would have needed to steer it up towards the middle. Now, again, here is a scenario where, again, see how it leads us? When the handoff happens, it's leading us right into 78 or 70 right there. But we can cut this back by not holding turbo. It's the one multi-purpose run, I believe, in the formation, and we can cut this as a halfback dive. As you see right there, make a couple moves, and we're gone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's certainly going to be more stuff before Madden 18. I do apologize at the quality of some of the videos lately, just due to the fact that really no adjustments or anything. I'm just trying to find something that you guys can use. In the gun empty tray scheme, there's really not many adjustments, very, very basic, but I mean, how much more stuff can you really find and show? In my belief, as long as it works, regardless of anything fancy, that's what matters. So I have high hopes for Madden 18, so I hope you guys subscribe and check me out for more tips there. I hope you enjoy this scheme. Hope you fully understand what it was I was trying to say about the run game. Stick to the halfback zone weak. It is the best run in the formation. I'll see you guys soon.